The most common phrase I tend to hear from senior golfers is this. They've hit that ball and they've gone, damn it, I need to keep that head down. Stop lifting up, keep your head down. When I disagree with this. Let me explain how this is probably one of the worst things you can think of when you're trying to strike your irons pure, and I'll show you something that's going to help you strike your irons much better, especially if you're a senior golfer. I hear this phrase all the time. I hear it down at the golf projects. I hear it down at where I play golf at. I heard it at Delamere Forest Golf Club where I used to work as well. That most common phrase, keep your head down. Oh, you lifted your head up again. You need to keep your head down to be able to make contact with that golf ball, solid contact, and feel that strike and see it go down the fairway. If we keep our head down during the swing and we just swing back and forth and try and hit that golf ball, well, that was a pretty rubbish strike. I hit the ground first, then the golf ball second, which caused the ball to go way to the left, especially off this mat here. And then we try and do the opposite. Oh, okay, I duffed that one. I need to make sure I make good contact with this one. It's a horrible thin shot. That's me trying to keep my head down as I'm hitting the golf ball, rather than swinging right the way through and executing through to the target. You notice there a two-way miss just from those two shots, right? Why didn't I strike the golf ball well? I kept my head down, but I didn't strike the golf ball whatsoever. So what I'm about to show you now is why you should not be thinking keeping your head down is going to sort this problem for you. Keeping your head down or thinking you're keeping your head down is probably the worst thing you can do. So let me explain 2 reasons why. So I've changed this camera angle over here just so you can see and understand why this is the case. So I'm thinking head down. What's going to happen is this going to encourage a massive sort of change to what we call the kinematic sequence. The kinematic sequence, dead simply, the swing sequence, how we start the sequence in the downswing of your golf swing, okay? So when you get to the top of the swing, it'll always start from the arms, then the upper torso, then the upper body will start to rotate into the top of the backswing. Well, the opposite wants to occur in the downswing. I want to start this golf swing on the downswing using the lower body first. So it should transition from the feet first, knees, hips, torso, all the way up to then the arms and club being the final thing hitting the golf ball, which is going to help that low point as opposed to being behind the golf ball. We want to get it past the golf ball in order to hit that ball, then turf interaction. So if I'm thinking head down and I swing to the top, especially for those duff shots, what's going to happen is it's going to encourage me to start my downswing using the upper body first. And if we watch from this camera here now, when I do this, 2 things can happen. I keep my head down, the upper body starts the golf swing, I have no rotation whatsoever here, so I get very stuck in the downswing, and that's going to encourage 2 things. 1, we continue doing this with the upper body, and we hit the ground first like this here. Or 2, we get to the top of our swing, we do this and we think, okay, I've kept my head down, but I know for a fact that if I continue on this path on the downswing, I'm going to hit that duff shot. So I'm going to lift upwards, lowest point is there, and then we see the hands go behind the club at impact, and we get that thinned golf shot. And that's you thinking you need to keep the head down. And this is making you hit those thin shots. It's making you also hit those duff shots. So what I want you to think is something else. If I set up this golf ball, the idea is that we want to see those hands working more ahead of the club face at impact to be able to see that ball and turf interaction, like I keep mentioning. So as you get to the top of the swing, I want to feel the majority of the pressure in the downswing from the lower body. So I need to feel the legs switching on, the feet switching on, the hips switching on, and everything's rotating towards the target. And I want you to think the belt buckle, or just a point underneath your belly button, is going to turn and rotate towards the target. This is going to allow you to do 2 things. Just watch from this camera here now. When we do this, we get to the top of our swing, belt to target. Our lower body starts to shift out the way. You can see my upper body now is rotated up more towards the target here. My hands can now stay ahead of the club face, giving myself more room to hit the golf ball, and we're going to get those much better strikes from ball and turf interaction. Because that club head itself, imagine it from this point, I've swung back, and then I turn that belt to target. That's going to encourage this action to take place at the lowest point after the golf ball, as opposed to doing the opposite where we get to the top of the swing, we keep our head down and do this. Doing this isn't going to work. It's going to reduce consistency. It's going to make you hit wayward golf shots like we've just seen me do just then as well. Dead simply put, you're just going to set up, and rather than think head down, allow your head to rotate through to the target like this here. Imagine, this is another tip I'm going to give you, bonus tip here as well. Imagine you're throwing a ball, a massive ball. So imagine it's like either a basketball, football, or whatever it may be. I'm just going to use this training aid here just to give you another example of this. And you've got it here. If you're going to throw this ball to that net there or to someone over in the distance as far as you can, you're not going to go like this, are you? You're not going to keep your head down whilst doing this. You're going to encourage the bigger muscles in your body to encourage this action, the power, the transition to take place effectively and throw this ball as far as you possibly can. So you will gain a bit more speed with this, and if people start saying, oh, you're swinging too fast, you're lifting your head up, rubbish. Ignore them, because it's only going to encourage you to play even worse, just because of those two reasons I explained before. So take this, you're just going to swing up to the top, belt buckle to target, bam, like so. So when we do this with a golf club now, we'll start to feel two things taking place. More speed into the golf swing, and also a much easier golf swing. You know that concept of swinging easy but hitting the golf ball further? That's what you're going to gain. You're going to gain that ball striking with the irons more efficiently and effectively, but the main purpose of this is to see that golf ball heading straight down your target. And as a bonus, you're going to get more distance because you're swinging faster, using the bigger muscles in your body to be able to efficiently transition into the downswing and hitting the golf ball out the center. So dead simple, belt buckle from the top of the swing is going to turn to target like this here. That was a pure strike. This would be quite difficult to start off with because you're completely changing the transition in the golf swing. You're changing half of your entire golf swing, something you've been working on for so many years in your golf game. But I can guarantee this, once you start to get used to this action and feeling that belt buckle working more out the way towards the intended target, especially out on the golf course, you're going to feel the golf swing becoming easier. You're going to gain that better ball striking that you've been after for so many years. Also, you're going to see more distance, higher ball flight. I could name so many of the benefits just from doing this concept, as opposed to trying to keep your head down and getting that two-way miss. Two-way strike and seeing that two-way miss out on the golf course, the left and the right. Take both sides out of the golf course by doing this drill. Get that belt buckle through to target and allow yourself just to rotate through to finish. Go ahead, give us a try. Let me know how you get on by commenting down below. Feel free to send me some feedback. It'd be great to hear, and we'll see you in the next video.